Hello and welcome to something new. I'm Wandering Stars, and I will be playing a relaxing game to help you unwind. You can put this on when you're getting ready for bed, waking up, need something to just listen to while you make dishes. I got you covered. Shoutouts to Snapcube for giving me this idea to make a long-form Let's Play intended for people to listen while they fall asleep. Because I listen to a lot of Let's Plays when I am trying to fall asleep, mostly Germa lately. But I've been watching Let's Plays since high school, and the kind of stuff I watch has evolved as I've gotten older, and at the point I am in life right now, the only thing that can calm me down is some Germa and some white noise. So I hope that I can provide something calming for you in this chaotic world we are living in every day. So, let's get into today's episode is Mushroom Musume. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I'm assuming it's the same emphasis as like Spam Musubi, but I don't know. Feel free to correct me. But it's Musume means daughter, so it's Mushroom Daughter. This is a choose your own adventure Tamagotchi kind of game. It's short, but it has so many endings you can unlock. There's actually 35. Let's see here. There's actually 35 different possible endings. And I've only gotten one. Well, I've only gotten one, but my partner has played this so he could check it out, and he got a different ending than me. You also get to unlock different mushroom characters depending on what choices you make. So your goal is to raise a little mushroom that is bestowed to you by a witch. This game was made at a summer game jam in 2022, and you can get it for free or for $5 or more. This game is available on itch.io, so that means you could play it right now. It's a pretty small game. But yeah, I was looking at different different free games or demos on itch.io, and I was playing a bunch of different demos to check out, and this one blew me away. It is just so detailed, and I'm excited to collect all of the endings. I was trying to decide if I should reset my save file or not, because I've already unlocked 2 endings and 3 mushrooms, but I think I'm not gonna reset it. It's okay, because there's a chance I might get the same ending. But I will show you who I've unlocked already. So my first run, I did I just made the choices that I thought were good ideas. And I got this slimy mushroom. And then let's see. I also got this poisonous mushroom. And all the art is so cute. And the other cool thing about this game is that when you unlock a mushroom, Like, this is the one my partner got. It was a bit neglected mushroom. When you unlock a mushroom, or depending on what mushroom you get, the color palette of the game changes. So I thought that was an awesome detail because, yeah, like some of the colors you get are pretty cool. For a game that's mostly a text adventure, and it's a lot of just words on the screen, they made it so cute. And we'll get into it right now. Once upon a time, there was a humble recluse. So that's us. We are the recluse who lives in the woods. Though they had no need for society, they did often find themselves home to a loneliness that they could never quite shake. In the morning, the sun would rise. At night, it would set. The recluse would observe this splendor, knowing that the sight would be made all the more beautiful by having someone to share it with. Wasn't that they desired a relationship, perhaps it was a flame that had burned them one too many times, or perhaps they were simply disinterested. No, a child. That's what they wanted. Someone to take care of, to teach. Unfortunately, it was a longing that could not be found. Not in these woods alone. However, we are never quite as alone as we think, are we? One day a witch appeared, as if drawn by the intensity of the recluse's desire. The lumber that the recluse had spent the morning gathering slipped through their hands as they spotted her, the witch of the woods. She began to speak. You desire a child, yes? For some, those are quite easy to come by, but not you, it would seem. Let us make a deal then. If you do 3 simple chores for me, I will present you with a daughter of your very own. The recluse, caught up in a moment of naivety, quickly agreed. The witch, knowing that the recluse was destined to accept, simply nodded and began to deliver the first of these so-called chores without hesitation. There have been some activities I've been meaning to get to. Perhaps you could make yourself useful and cross one off the list for me. Not realizing that they were simply saving the witch some time, the recluse determined which task they were most suited for. So every choice I make in this game is going to affect the future of my daughter. Who my daughter will be depends on the choices I make as a mother. Just like real life. We can prepare the witch a comforting meal, test a selection of elixirs for quality, attend to a certain matter of a noxious laundry basket. What would I do to help this witch if... I'll make her a meal. What do witches like to eat? The recluse pondered this question, figuring that one could not go wrong with a simple meal of eggs and bacon. Ah, very good. How kind of you. After quickly wiping themselves down, the recluse returned to their hut. Oh, I thought they said but. The recluse returned to their hut for the remainder of the night. The second day. The recluse slept more soundly that night than they had in ages. Having a purpose again soothed them, even if they had found themselves caught up with a witch. They elected not to think about that, though. Instead, when the morning came, they simply did what they had to do, which is to say, they got up and went to meet with the witch. Upon watching the recluse's approach, a sardonic smile lit the witch's face. You completed your first task admirably. 2 more, and I can finally give you what you want. She paused for only a moment before delivering her next message of import. It is important for a young person to be well-grounded in this world, I hear. Bring me a jar of soil to help with this process. Keep in mind that not all dirt is the same, though. Consider the source carefully. Soil? That did sound somewhat magical, the recluse supposed. Left with this vague prompt, they considered their options. A barren spot, a forest long since struck by some invisible ailment, a quiet graveyard, or a particularly lumpy patch in the witch's front yard. So, what's the best soil for our mushroom daughter? Long since struck. I think that means is... I don't know. Long since struck by some invisible ailment. Meaning that it's been untouched for a long time? I don't know. Let's take the barren spot. Many of the local villagers avoided this section of the forest, a place that was so utterly devoid of life. However, the recluse had no fear, and they knew that by choosing the spot, their daughter wouldn't either. Arriving back at the meeting place, the recluse was excited to share their selection with the witch. So that's what you picked. Very well, it shall do. Feeling the need to scrub their skin, the recluse retired to their hut to cleanse themselves. Almost said but again. The third day. With 2 assignments complete, the recluse could feel their excitement grow. If this witch was being honest, and for some reason they felt that she was, then that meant this could be the last night they spent without a child. They hoped so, at least. That was all they could do. Barely remembering to get dressed, the recluse dashed to the meeting spot. Again, the witch had been waiting there for them. Welcome back, recluse. Are you prepared? Today is your big day, is it not? The last task is an easy one, or at least I believe so. Bring me something colorful, something bright, that you think will suit her. When they were first told of the 3 tasks, the recluse had imagined things that were much more difficult. This seemed so easy as to be a trick, which they supposed only meant that they should take it seriously, as if a mistake could mean death. With death in mind, the recluse needed to decide where to search for color. So, where should we get a color for our daughter? I think this choice really... this is just a guess, but I think this choice is what determines what color our mushroom daughter will be, maybe. My first 2 runs I picked a stony river. When my partner did this, he picked the field of flowers. I want to go back to the stony river. Though underwater wasn't the first place most people thought of for color, the recluse understood there were many shades that people failed to consider. They arrived at a nearby river, glancing into the glassy water to spy a variety of small shining stones. Turquoise, prized symbols of luck and fortune. Garnet, lost maroon, heralds of bygone storms. Obsidian, bloody stone, or jasper. Okay. It's interesting because I wonder if the game is presenting me all possible choices here. I really want to know how the dialogue tree is set up for this game. It's actually really interesting to me because I've picked the Stony River twice already. And there are some rock options on here that I've picked that aren't. There are some rock options that aren't here that I have picked before. Like, I think I picked marble for one of them. I think I picked the bloody stone, maybe. So, turquoise, lucky, garnet is like maroon, classic. For this run, I think I want to do garnet. That one sounds cool. The glint of a garnet caught the recluse's eye. With a bit of polish, it would shine a deep, ruddy red, a beauty that could only be beat by their daughter. Ooh, I like this. I really like this pinkish purple to go between the red and the green. I understand, though, that this... Ooh, and this is like a nice forest green. Yeah. I wonder... I don't know. I really like this color scheme. This is doing it for me. And honestly, this is probably my favorite. Like, I love the mushroom drawings. I love the choose your own adventure, but like, this is the best part of the game for me. That they made a text adventure with some visuals, and your choices affect like the color scheme of the UI. I love that so much. It's kind of funny because I recently was working on my own idea. I've had an idea for like a text adventure game for many years that I have had in the back of my mind. And like a couple days before playing this, I was like, if I made something that was just text, it would be cool to like change the color scheme for different reasons. Like in Return of the Obra Dinn, if you've never heard of that game, it is very similar to, if you've never heard of that game, it is like made by the people, or the one, I think it's just one developer. The guy who did Papers, Please made this game, Return of the Obra Dinn, and oh my god, it is such a cool game. And one of my favorite parts about it is like at the beginning of the game, you get to choose if you want the color scheme you get to choose different color schemes based on like old computer monitors. So like the options are like the Mac, like the old Macintosh, IBM, like the neon green, Commodore 64, I don't know. I'll show you the examples, but yeah, I could talk a while about this, but making a color palette for an art project is probably one of my favorite parts about making art projects. So when this happened the first time I saw it, I was like, okay, this game is like, for me? This is for me. I love this. Okay. Let's continue. The recluse returned the witch's hut, colored item in hand. She silently took the object, nodding her head to the recluse in recognition. The recluse stood there for a moment, unsure, before finally the witch realized what they expected. Oh ho ho! You want your promised daughter, don't you? Her voice was almost mocking, but at least it was not overtly cruel. I suppose I must tell you that I lied, human. I do require several more trifling things from you. First, the matter of your payment. The recluse should have known that everything is for a cost. Pay me now with wealth, pay me now with life, pay me sometime soon in larger quantities, pay me at a much later date in the way I choose. Okay. So, I know from playing this 2 times already. Well, I guess I've seen 3. I've seen 3 paths. So this one, pay me at a later date. I think this one means, from what I gather from the past runs, is this one is going to kill me in the future. This one is going to take all my money later. This one is going to kill me now, and this is going to take all my money now. So, I'm gonna pay now with wealth, and then maybe I can get more money while I raise my daughter. They offered their coin purse to the witch, and she took it wordlessly. After pocketing the whole pouch, she returned a single coin to the recluse's hand. This'll be sufficient, the witch smiles. With the payment settled, the witch simply smiled and handed the recluse a small pot. Humans are tricky, but mushrooms are much more resilient. Consider this an upgrade. Don't worry, eventually she will develop a mind. Simply give her time, as much as she needs. Soon your wish will be in full bloom. I suppose with all that settled though, there is one last thing for you to consider. A young girl needs a proper name. The recluse thought on the witch's demand before offering the final thing they had to give. What is her name? So, let's see. Picked Garnet. We chose to feed the witch. I just noticed the song playing right now is called Wandering Steps, and I was like, hey, that's almost my name. Ooh, I'm feeling like Jupiter. It's like Red Giant. I don't know. I'm thinking about planets. I think that works for me. Then she walked away, only fate knowing if the two should ever meet again. Chapter 2, Cultivation. Though the recluse was unsure of the specifics, they did realize that it was important to heed her instructions, care for the pot and the dirt and everything that lay within. So the recluse geared up as any parent should and assessed the things they needed to raise a child. Finances in case the nearby village had goods or services that you could not provide, nutrients for the child to help it grow strong. They would need plenty, as it would be depleted on a daily basis. And finally, the recluse's own stamina could not be ignored. One cannot burn the candle from both ends indefinitely. Thus began the longest growing season of the recluse's life. Okay, now we're at a new part of the game. We are raising our mushroom. Let's see what it looks like. Cute little mushroom. This is our daughter. One day, you awake slightly earlier than usual in your somewhat somnambulant state. I'm assuming that means like sleepwalking. You hear an ethereal croon originating from your garden. When you go out, you spot it. A small fairy clad in maroon is sitting When you go out, you spot it. A small fairy clad in maroon is sitting amongst your crops. Catch the fairy to sell in town, hunt the fairy to use as food for your daughter, build a small fairy garden in your daughter's room using supplies, or offer a coin to the fairy to gain their favor. So our finances are low, and you could sell the fairy, or you could build a garden for the fairy. I want to build the garden for the fairy. But I feel like I should sell the fairy. Let's just build a garden for the fairy. I'll do a greedy run next. Without delay, you quickly gather your supplies. Greenery, some common foods, hell, throw in a drop of blood. Fae love that sort of thing. Blood. After consulting some books to ensure that it's an appropriate space, you lure the fairy in with treats. Though they seem unsure at first, the fairy eventually accepts your offer of a home. Though your daughter is not yet old enough to appreciate this pet, you're sure she will be in time. The decision being made, life continued. A flock of hungry birds have been harassing both your crops and your daughter recently. In fact, they've become quite the nuisance. Should I hunt the birds, ignore the birds, or purchase some poison and forcibly evict the foul sky rats? I'm gonna hunt the birds. You retrieve your bow and are lucky to leave with not one but 2 birds from the flock. They shouldn't show up again for a while. You and your daughter may rest. Nothing more could be done to the birds. The matter was laid to rest. Huh? Something's happening. Oh, cute! Your daughter has changed in the night. You awaken one morning to the sound of something moving about your home. Your daughter has grown a pair of sturdy legs. The creature walks about easily, using her new strength to push and rummage. The creature walks about easily, using her new strength to push and rummage through your belongings. Her demeanor seems cute and helpful, often following you as you go about your daily tasks. Encourage her cooperation, spend time nurturing her environment, motivate her to do something safer. I usually choose this one, so I'm gonna try to motivate her to be safe. Concerned about your daughter's friendliness, you decide to encourage her to do something else while you work. You tell her to stay at home or play by herself while you're doing things. Following you around all the time can't be good for her. Oh no! I don't think that's a good idea. She seems to understand and spends her free time on her own, admittedly simple pursuits. The decision being made, life continued. My guy looks like a little marshmallow. One evening, you hear a light knocking at your door. Quite a rare occurrence. Peeking through the window, you witness none other than the Witch of the Woods standing on the doorstep of your humble hut. Could she be here for a visit or to settle a debt? Introduce her to your daughter. Privately request a stipend. I thought we paid. What? Hey, this is my daughter. Perhaps it was time for your daughter to meet the witch. She could maybe even learn a thing or two. The two of you answer the door and invite the gloomy woman inside for a dry and awkward small talk. Something about the way the two absently stare at each other. You wonder if they've made some sort of connection today. The decision being made, life continued. The day's gotten away from you already. The sun's gentle descent is being swallowed behind the forest's reach. You weren't able to finish everything you set out for today, but you only have time for one more chore. Grab a lead and take your daughter for a walk. Barter for some fine substrates to better grow your daughter. Purchase new construction materials for your hut. You've already worked hard enough. Retire to the tavern. Finish a favor the village's leader asked of you. Let's do this one. Doing favors for the leader is comfortable to you. It allows you flexibility while still giving you some funds. That's a lot of money. Today is no different than usual. You herd some cats for the leader, and in exchange, they pay you. How novel. Your task behind you, you and your daughter return home. Each do a nice bath and a simple dinner. Huh? Something's happening. Oh, I like how this one's going. This is new. Your daughter has changed to the knights. One morning, you notice that your daughter is nowhere to be seen. After some searching, you find a massive clump of mushrooms resembling your daughter's protruding in a small clearing. Brushing away some of the freshly turned soil around, you can see the top of your daughter's head, having seemingly undergone a transformation. She twitches in response to your probing, and shifts until the earth again covers her head. Wait for her, buy her a nice gift to celebrate, dig her out. gonna wait. Your daughter seems intent on being underground, so you won't disturb her. After waiting for an hour, you decide to let her be and go about your daily tasks, occasionally returning to check on her. Later in the day, you return to find her sitting in the clearing. The creature had now taken the form of a young girl. The decision being made, life continued. Your daughter needs food too, and you've just run out. You need to find something to feed her soon, or she'll surely starve. You need to find something to feed her soon, or she'll surely starve. Spend the day gathering nutritious substrate. Let's get it. You spend the day foraging and digging in the woods, and return with a heap of mushroom food for your hungry daughter. It's a little hard to be sure, but it seems like she's thankful for your efforts. The decision being made, life continued. Harsh weather has taken its toll on your garden, and your entire harvest has been lost. Weeks' worth of food and labor has been rotted and destroyed. Without immediate action, you and your daughter will be in trouble later down the line. Uh-oh. Times are tough. Offer your daughter some old food. Till the garden again and start over from seed. Make your daughter tend to the plants. Accept the loss for now. You can make do. Oh no! We're starting over. No use crying over ruined crops. You simply make adjustments to your garden. There'll be less variety this season, but you'll live to see it. That's what matters. The decision being made, life continued. Hard working for this daughter. An end? One night, you find yourself struggling to sleep. Your mind wanders as you consider your current place in life. You've lived peacefully with your daughter for many moons. Initially, it was strange. Well, it never stopped being strange, but you were always thankful for the company. Besides, the affection you felt for her was like any parent would feel toward Besides, the affection you felt for her Besides, the affection you felt for her was like any parent would feel toward their child. Besides, the affection you felt for her was like any parent would feel toward their child. That was normal, at least. Your thoughts turned to the concept of time, particularly how you were once alone. How you are afraid that you will be again someday. Your daughter has had more and more curiosities about the outside world. It's only a matter of time before she wants to strike her own path. You hope she will be fulfilled now. You hope you've done enough. Ultimately, you find comfort in what you've done. You may have had many failures in your life, but there's one thing you know you can die proud of. Ooh. A new beginning. Telling the recluse that you wanted to see more of the world wasn't an easy conversation. As they grew older, you worried about leaving them on their own. Thankfully, your concerns were unwarranted. They were happy that you had grown enough to want to move out. They even offered to help you build your own home, close to theirs. You were welcome to visit any time, obviously. Faster than you would have anticipated, the two of you built your home together. They showed you all of the tricks they knew and made sure to impart as much knowledge as they possibly could. Finally, the day arrived. You were officially on your own. You were scared a little, but also excited. It felt like a new chapter was just beginning for you. Oh, She's so cute. Animal friend, gourmet. You have an endearing animal-like appearance. Oh, we're a truffle. Oh my god. Cute. Chefs throughout the land envy your delicate, complex flavors. Now a treasure mushroom sought after by humans and animals. Wow. So now we get to play as the daughter. So we have some nope cards, which will get us out of some situations. We have some soma cards. Your body is made of a useful resource, but you must be mindful not give too much of yourself away. On use, it gives you a little snack for later, at least. And we have some money. Cool. I like these. I like this game. Mystic Eye Bond. You've developed some rapport with your creator, the Witch of the Woods. And Loving Parent, the recluse will always live in your heart, and for the time being, next door. I have a small magical friend that has a tendency to follow me. And I have a loyal pet pig that will follow me to the ends of the earth. That is so cute. I love it. Chapter 3, A Girl on Her Own. Having taken a leisurely stroll one day, you set up upon a humble shack nestled among dense brush across the nearby river. And from the hovel bounds a symphony of music, reverberating off of the trees. With curiosity grabbing hold, you saunter off the beaten path, making your way to the water's edge. To your surprise, a ramshackle bridge extends across the water, and before you know it, you're face to face with the shack's rotting door. Knock on the door, or reconsider and leave. I'm curious, Mushroom. We're knocking. You wrap your knuckles on the door. After a moment, a slight shuffling can be heard from inside. At length, the door opens, and you are greeted to the bewildered expression of a rather strange-looking crone. The figure is tall and looming, hunched over with a head still a solid foot above your own. A hood veils their eyes, and where it would expose the skin, there travels only matted whiskers long since grayed. You notice their skin as the crow raises a hand in greeting, gnarled and dark like the knot of a tree. And as they speak, hoarsely churning out a polite hello, you catch the subtlest torrent of voices intermingled from within, like an amalgam of sounds. It has been a long while since a visitor graced my doorstep. Would you like to come inside? Surely you have been drawn by the music, no? You can't say no. You really are captivated by the music. Without delay, you take the crone up on their offer and enter their home. They seem nice enough, and you get the feeling that all the apprehension built up before has melted away. Plus, the interior smells like fresh jasmine. What better way to de-stress? The crone shows you the source of the music, a strange box at the far end of the room. As they're showing off the piece, the music stops, and the crone hits a small switch, shutting down the mechanisms. This here is a phonograph, used for playing music off these cylinders. The crone fiddles with the machine, taking off a black wax cylinder. This one is a part of a suite, the finale. The crone hangs their head low. Unfortunately, the rest of the suite is lost to me. Without missing a beat, you recognize the format of the cylinder and retrieve one of your own, black wax and everything. The crone pauses for a moment, looks you up and down, and says, "Ah, a collector yourself, eh?" "Ah, an alchemist then." It's hard to tell, but you believe a smile to have cracked somewhere beyond the mass of whiskers. If that's the case, you seem able enough. I tell you what, if you're able to collect the rest of the suite, I'll give you the finale as a gift. One cannot enjoy a suite without the full collection. Ooh, mission. You shrug. The offer seems straightforward enough. Without reluctance, you accept, much to the crone's satisfaction. Then I would ask to read you a story. One that might help glean the location of another cylinder. Would you be interested? It is, however, quite the long story, should you wish to do other things. Oh, we're listening to the story. I want to collect these records. Ah yes, the crone stoops in place across from you, resting on what you assume to be their haunches. As they open the book, you feel enraptured, engrossed, enthralled. Before you know it, the words blend into a dappling of synesthesia that seemingly spirits you away to that's a crazy sentence. Like, it's a really well-written sentence. As they open the book, you feel enraptured, engrossed, enthralled. Before you know it, the words blend into a dappling of synesthesia that seemingly spirits you away to the land of story. As with many, this tale began in tragedy. Whoa. Now we're collecting mushrooms. Oh, wow. Oh, oops. I didn't read that. An errant child, the kid was exiled from town, branded with heresy and derision. She bore no sin but that of her birth, specifically the eyes, smoldering pools of ceaseless violet. They were in the same eyes. Wait, almanac. Oh. They were the same eyes as the Violet Witch, a malefactor who had been terrorizing the area for years. And as such, the kid was cast from her meager home at a young age, branded as a cursed child. She would not know peace for some time, not until her body became frail, her throat burning, her stomach gnawing. It was a reclusive figure who at length offered her shelter, one who lived deep in the western woods. It was the first time the kid could know peace. But peace was ill becoming of the time, and ever fleeting. Despite the love and care bestowed upon her by her guardian, she could not stay. Fire came in the night. At first, it was deemed an accident, happenstance, but the attacks became emboldened, frequent. As long as the Violet Witch roamed the land, the kid would know no sanctuary. She could only bring pain to those who would offer her comfort. And so, after a heated argument with her guardian, she forced herself to leave, lest they be caught up in the madness. The kid set off without preparation, carrying with her only a smolder of conviction. Nevertheless, she was savvy, complete with a few well-boned skills needed for survival. Wasn't long before she was well away from home, out beyond the threshold where the familiar woods fell away to shadowy hinterlands. Though according to rumors of the Violet Witch, her manse would be less than a day's travel, southwest. And as it were, there were 3 ways to go about heading there. The Galders Highway, which the kid had been taking, dilapidated as it was. The old-growth forest, as welcoming as it seemed, or the gentle riverbank. Oh, as unwelcoming as it seemed. Continue on the highway, cut through the old growth, follow the river. We're looking for mushrooms. I'm following... Wait, are we looking for mushrooms? No. What are we looking for? Records. I don't know, I'll follow the river. Looking to avoid any trouble, the kid decided the easiest route was to follow the river. It allowed for more light than the alternatives, with her being able to see quite well in the gloom. Gloam? It's gloam. So well, in fact, that she spotted a glint of moonlight on the bank of the river, reflecting off a piece of what appeared to be jewelry. Upon further inspection, it seemed to be a talisman fashioned in the shape of a circle of fairies. Holding it made the kid feel something deep within her soul. But the catharsis swiftly fled. Before long, the talisman seemed like nothing more than a hunk of metal. Regardless, the kids stashed it safely on their person. After a while, the man crested over a neighboring hill. She was just beside the property as it was. Though she thought for a moment there was still enough twilight to search around nearby. Of course, it may not be worth it. Search the highway, search the old growth, continue to the manse. Might not be worth it. Let's continue. The Violet Witch's manse was regal though disheveled. It didn't appear as though anyone had been home for some time, even if there was a distinct lack of dust on the surfaces. Very little furniture decorated the vaulted foyer. Exits on either side led to the library and the dining hall, while a spiraling staircase led into darkness overhead. Examine or travel. Let's look. Welcome sign, potted plant, grandfather clock, chandelier, suspicious corner. Never mind. We're going in the suspicious corner. A portrait of the lady of the house hung menacingly in the corner of the room. Taller and wider than a full-grown adult, her eyes pierced into the kid's soul. Examine or travel. Let's look at it. Oh, let's examine the plant. A pitiful wilted thing. The kid's first thought upon seeing such a sad remark was to believe it to be desiccated. Perhaps she was right. Okay, let's travel. Go to the library, go to the dining hall, go upstairs, cancel. Library. That might be where the records are. A vibrant carpet and luscious scarlet drapes helped to pull together a warm, rich environment within the hardwood library. The room stretched up far above, concealing into darkness just beyond a mezzanine. Examine. Table, chair, bookshelf, heavy curtains, mezzanine. Far above, though before the shadows restricted her vision, the kid could spy a mezzanine. The library had a very clear second floor that was inaccessible from the first. Ooh. Oh, wait. Oh, we can't go up there. Okay, let's go back. There might not be anything here. Upstairs? The kid found themselves in a, might I say, dramatically lit hallway. We're talking candelabra, stained glass, the works. So I'm doing a choose your own adventure inside a choose your own adventure. It's crazy that this is the first one I got on my recording. Seems like this ending, it might be longer than all the other ones. The hallway only led 2 ways, downstairs, back to the foyer, and into the man's bedroom. Oh, we're going in the bedroom. The door appeared to be locked. Surreal portrait. Yeah? The kid studied the portrait in the hallway. It was of a familiar-looking woman, caught frozen in an expression of surprise, as though she had not expected acknowledgement. Dang it. Where are the records? Bedroom? Oh. Frig. Grandfather clock. Live, laugh, spellcraft. Rearrange the letters. Oh yeah, let's rearrange the levers. Ugh, all lifesteal. Dining hall? On the wall, a portrait of a woman sat crooked, and around the corner, a hearth sat blazing beneath the bust of a stuffed boar. In the shadowy corner, a door led surreptitiously to the kitchen. Oh, kitchen, kitchen, kitchen. Let's go to the kitchen. Kid entered the kitchen and found little of interest. Random cutlery and the lingering smell of stale grease littered the room. Oven, countertops. Key! Yo, we found a key. We can go to the bedroom now. Alright, alright. Pantry. Ooh, let's go in the pantry. Okay. Servant's note. Particularly savvy looking rat. Let's look at this note. Particular book within the library, but for whatever reason it doesn't explain why. Regardless, it piqued the kid's interest. Okay, okay. So we're going back. We gotta go back to the library, and then we have the key to open the bedroom. So let's go to the foyer. Let's go to the library. The time is 10 o'clock. Okay. Bookshelf. Along the majority of the library's wall ran a magnificent bookcase. As it were, several books stood out notably to the kid. Read the first book, read the second book, read the third book, read the secret book. Kid opened the book expecting to find some boring scrap of information, but instead was greeted with a hollowed out center. Bedroom key. Wait. Oh. That's the bedroom key. Then what other key did I get? Do I have 2 keys? Oh, I have the pantry key. Okay, did I go through the whole pantry? I guess the pantry got me that note. Let's go to the bedroom. This is definitely where we have to go. With only... Oh, yeah, so we're in the bedroom. Okay. The wardrobe, the polished vanity, the regal 4-poster bed, the conspicuously well-preserved wedge of cheese, an armor stand in the corner. Never mind. Armor stand in the corner. A mannequin in the corner of the room sported a peculiar attire. Armor, though ceremonial, as if meant to slip over regular clothing. A fauge made of mirror plates matched an oversized necklace of similar styling, while a set of gauntlets completed the fashion. Oh, I could just get the armor. They could feel a warding effect to create a paling around them. They felt more protected than before. Wardrobe. Cane, a marvelous cane. Whoa, I'm just getting all this stuff. Oh, oops. Polished vanity. A beautiful, simplistic vanity sat in the corner of the room. Inside, a diary belonging to the lady house, open, reading, I fear to have fallen into thraldom. I mustn't forget the code to the altar. Mine own faith feels faint of late. I pray this omen never to afflict my sweet child. Remember it. Remember the code, ye tired wretch. Epic Chloe. For the sake of thy daughter. Oh, okay. So where's the altar? A longsword in the bed? Whoa. We're getting everything. Okay, and then what's in the cheese? We got cheese. Let's take the cheese. Or a bored hobbyist. Regardless, the kid took the cheese because, quite frankly, she couldn't think of a reason not to. Ugh. I mean, could you? No, I guess I couldn't. Yeah, actually, several. Yeah, actually, there's several reasons why we shouldn't take the cheese. Yeah, well, you're not the one telling the story, so pipe down. Okay, we got the cheese. Okay, now we go back to the altar. Where, but do we know where the altar is? Oh, I think it might... The lavatory? Go to the library's mezzanine. Go to the lavatory, go to the hallway. Inside of the lavatory is fascinating to the kid. Lazuli walls coated every inch, and ornate tiling in blues and whites accented the rest. We got toilet paper. Let's go to the mezzanine. Bookshelf. Book 1, book 2, book 3. Return the books to their shelves. I don't know. Okay. So, where's the altar? I think it might be in the In the pantry? Okay. No, is there an altar in here? Shoot, where's the altar? Is the altar in here, maybe? I forget. Welcome, sign pot to playing Grand Theft Auto Clock. Oh, we went into the kitchen. Dining room, portrait, hearth, boar bust, kitchen table. What? Let's dance, I guess. I don't know if I found if I took the right options. I feel like I was supposed to find something in here. Is this... it's like the code for the altar. Where's the altar? Was it in the bedroom? I'm gonna run out of time. Oops, that was a gross sound. Oh wait, maybe the altar's in the hallway? Surreal portrait. Uh-oh, I'm gonna run out. Maybe I missed something in the bedroom. Nope. Nope. Uh-oh. Ah, I didn't mean to click that. Oopsie. I don't know. It's midnight, I think. I think we lose. Oh, in the foyer, the kid felt a horrid chill on the air. Suddenly, she came face to face with the shade of the manse's matron. Though a formidable opponent, it was nothing more than the poor witch's memories made manifest. There was no time to think. The shade saw the kid as an intruder and intended to make the consequences known. But the kid had no intention of going down without a fight. The kid thought briefly about what to use against the shade, pulling out her swanky cane, the lady's longsword, the power of collateral damage. Let's do collateral damage. The kid raised up the discarded fae and materialized a fairy in midair who promptly flew up into the darkness overhead for some mischief. Not a second passed before a snap was heard and the great chandelier came falling down directly on the shade, splintering about it and littering debris across the floor. Yikes, it certainly felt that attack. So much so that its daze allowed the kid time for another strike. The kid thought briefly about what to use against the shade. Let's use the sword. The kid swung the great longsword, once belonging to the Lady of the Manse. The shade reeled back at the slice, screaming in pain. The kid smirked, but as she looked back at the blade, she saw it crumble and break, its eyes catching the ridiculous rearrangement of the welcome sign. The shade stood for a moment in confusion. The kid wasn't about to let the opportunity pass her by. The kid thought briefly about what to use. The cane. The kid swung the silver eagle head into the shade, eliciting pain from the creature. The shade initiated its share of the combat by reaching high and striking down with an incredible claw attack. The passion of the fight had been ignited. The dance was afoot. The kid danced around, desperately trying to avoid cutting themselves up too bad on the broken chandelier. The kid thought briefly about what to use against shade. Oh, we have the cane. Can hit her again. And we can hit her again. I think we win. I don't really know. I don't know where this is going. We have unanswered questions. The only thing left as a clue for her was a small precious stone left behind the shade. And as the kid scooped it into her palm, the stone warmed and glittered a bright green before fading at length into slumber. Regardless, the kid understood it was only the beginning of her journey. And such was the kid, forced to come to terms with many a disquieting thought upon that return trip home. Dozens of woes, a litany of sorrows, but only one truth that struck her. Perhaps those who rallied against her in fact did so with cause. The kid would return victorious indeed, but some believe her to have gone on further, to do many a great deed. Alas, that is all for now. Time has slipped away from us, it seems. You'd best hurry on home now, before the dark settles. The crone leans in, uncomfortably close. You wouldn't want to run into the Violet Witch now, would you? He asked with a cackle. Taking his advice, he returned home, head filled with thoughts of the kid. While out for a walk around the outskirts of the village, you stumble upon a small lake that you know the villagers frequent as a place to relax. You notice a group of young villagers swimming not far from the shore, while a woman fishes from a small dock a ways away. How should you spend your time here? Offer a small piece of yourself to the woman for her to use as bait. Take a swim. Just go home. Sit at the dock. You're more curious how fishing works. Sit and soak your feet in the water. Let's learn about fishing. Yes. She shares some gossip with you, and you share some interesting fungal facts with her. After some time, you say goodbye and head home a little wiser about how the people of the village live. As you go to the local bakery, you feel a set of eyes staring at you. You turn your neck and barely catch a glance of the man following you. He's wearing a beret and a chef's apron, and making you feel uneasy. Run back home as quickly as you can. Tell the man off. You're not for eating after all. Oh, we're fighting this guy. Nobody eats me. You angrily turn on your heel and yell at him, I am a person, you know. You can see him visibly pale, taking a handkerchief out of his pocket and wiping the sweat from his brow as he chokes out an apology. The night sky is clear and beautiful as you sit on a stump atop a small hill looking up. Something catches your eye and you notice the streak of a shooting star. Quick, make a wish! Wish to be blessed with delicious food. Wish for it to rain tomorrow. Wish for the people of the kingdom to live peaceful lives. Wish to stay in good health, stronger, or wish for the star itself. I'm gonna wish for... I kinda wanna wish for a rain. Or wish for them to live peaceful lives. I'm gonna do rain. Seems your wish has upset someone because the next day is a scorcher. Dang. You feel a crisp breeze. The heat is relenting. The trees are changing in color. Fall has arrived. One day you find yourself considering the thought of dinner, primarily that you don't feel like preparing it. While you don't need food, as the humans call it, you find that it's a comfort you particularly enjoy indulging in at times. Those times are primarily in the morning, in the afternoon, and in the evening. You've been told humans enjoy their meals in this structure as well. I actually prefer my meals at 3 p.m., 6 p.m., and 4 a.m. This lack of will, yet interest in flavor, compels you to think. You remember that in the village there is an establishment you have yet to visit, a restaurant run by one of the locals. A meal, without having to cook? What a brilliant idea. If you were going to ask a stranger for food, you figure you should try to play to human social norms. Perhaps it would be wise for you to blend in more than normal today. You decide to don a head wrap and dark tinted glasses to conceal some of your abnormal appendages, and make your way quickly to the town. Thankfully, you are familiar with the area it is located in. This knowledge helps you get there with the utmost haste. When you arrive, you cautiously enter the front door of the establishment. Within, you see a woman nervously pacing. On your entrance, she jumps. Oh, she gasps, then quickly straightens herself up. She gives you a thorough look over as if trying to deduce something about you. Her eyes go from your glasses to your head wrap. Finally, it's as if she has a realization. How discreet. I understand. Please come this way, madame. Discreet? What a strange thing to be complimented on. But she seems polite enough, so you do as she says. She guides you to a quaint table in the corner of the dining room. The tabletop is decorated with a fine silk tablecloth, as well as a small selection of lit candles. You go to pull the chair out from the table, but the woman stops you. Ah, allow me. She pulls the chair out and pushes you back in. Is this what a restaurant is? A servant and a meal? She begins to tell you about the current offerings of the establishment, detailing the many virtues of the chef's hardtack and pork stew. And don't worry about the price, ma'am. For you, it's on the house. Everything does sound good. For free? And yet so many options. Pork stew with a side of hardtack, chanterelle and fiddlehead fern risotto, aerated squirrel liver pate with a rustic acorn soil. Okay, number 1, I have a pet pig. We're not eating it. Number 2, I'm a mushroom. I'm not gonna eat other mushrooms. Number 3, we're gonna have the disgusting squirrel liver and dirt. Air? Soil? That sounds like nutrients to you. While you originally came here seeking a good old-fashioned human meal, the concept of fine dirt prepared by a chef was compelling. You tell the waitress that you will have the air and dirt. After a passing moment of confusion, she simply lets out an empathetic and departs to take your order to the kitchen. With the waitress gone, a certain silence fills the room. You are there alone, at the table. Admittedly, this is a situation you aren't used to. Do humans spend much of their time in such a manner? Sitting in a room in someone else's residence, unsure of what they're allowed to do? Me, for real? In any case, the time somehow passes quickly. You can just barely make out the faint sound of cookery in the background. Pots changing and wet squelches. Oh, pots clanging and wet squelches. The excitement does have an effect on your appetite, and when you finally spot the server coming with a tray in her hand, you can almost hear your non-existent stomach gurgling. Here you are, ma'am. She sets the tray down, the aroma slowly reaching you. She reaches out, placing an incredibly small white dish in front of you. Despite an evocative name, the smell is actually not as strong as you had expected. Honestly, you can barely identify the items on the plate. An airy blob of brown with a sprinkling of brown. Regardless, you take the dish and turn it upward, letting the contents fall into your mouth. Insert jumpstart 1990 whatever. Delicious. After a sufficient enough time to finish your meal, the server reappears, accompanied by a rotund man wearing a chef's smock. The server quietly takes your empty dish as the chef approaches. I wanted to come out and personally thank you for coming by tonight. I know you could be at any other establishment in the village right now, but I'm honored that you chose mine. You suppose what he's saying is true, though a little odd to say. Nevertheless, you appreciate his kind words. I apologize if this is too direct, but could I ask, did we pass muster? Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, wait. Stop the music. Did we pass muster? This is okay. I gotta back up really quick. This is my first time seeing this phrase written in front of me. Did we pass muster? Okay, I have heard this before. You know where I've heard this before? In an episode of The fucking Simpsons.
I'd like to give you a tryout. Write a 500-word sample review. If it passes muster, we'll put you on staff.
Thanks for the chance. You won't never regret this, Mr. Editing Guy.
I'm assuming that means, like, if you do a good job. But I, for all of this, for my whole entire life, thought that he was saying if it could pass mustard. Bro. Unless they did say pass mustard. As a joke. I don't know. But man, what the that is so funny that I never... Okay. Back to the game. I apologize if this is too direct, but could I ask, did we pass muster? Did you enjoy your meal? You contemplate his question and think about the meal you just ingested. It's truly different from anything you've ever had before. It was inedible! No, it says it was incredible. Could be better. I don't know. Let's see, I'll be nice. With honesty, you're able to tell the man that it was one of the best meals you've ever eaten. He squeals with joy, quickly covering his mouth. Oh, thank you. This will be so good for business. Please come again anytime. Finally, with the whole ordeal done, you stand to leave. You were told the meal was free, and everyone seems to be gone. So you suppose that's your cue. As you walk out the entryway, your shoulder accidentally collides with something. You look over, seeing a strange, hunched woman. She's wearing a pair of dark glasses and a wrap around her head. In her hands, a scrap of parchment paper with writings on it, as if she is some manner of writer. You express a rushed apology and leave the restaurant at once. For some reason, you suspect that perhaps you are able to reap the rewards of a mistaken identity today. Sure, you had fun doing it. One day, while attending to some foraging business in the woods, you make a strange discovery. You go to retrieve some fruit from a low shrub, but as you move a branch, you notice something out of the corner of your eye, a glint of metal. Metal? Could be a lost item belonging to some human, or it could be something valuable for you to keep. You go to more closely examine the item and have a realization. Before you is a perfectly sculpted copper hand. As you lean in to look for any marks that could betray its origin, you realize the hand is connected to a body. Uh-oh. Thing before you is unbelievable. It's as if someone had taken a person and plated them with copper. You wonder if this is the case for a second, but reel with horror when you see it move. The being stands up. Surely plated copper could not move with such fluidity. You hear a sound, as if the thing was speaking. Is this the kid? Is this the kid from the story? You are unsure of what to say. The thing seems confused at your confusion for a moment, before snapping her fingers in thought. She stretches one arm up, touches the back of her head, then cheerfully speaks. Sorry, I totally forgot to adjust my translator. Can you understand me now? You find yourself shocked for a moment at the chipper disposition of whatever this thing is. While your response is slightly delayed by shock, you confirm to her that you technically understand what she's saying. This information brings her joy, which results in a little hop and an exclamation of the phrase, "Woo!" Her excitement is contagious. When she clasps her hand in yours, you can't help but jump with joy with her. Being this close to her, you get a chance to examine this being more closely. Once you look beyond her glistening coat, you can see her physical characteristics more clearly. She's petite, thinly stocked and standing just slightly shorter than you, with similarly numbered and proportioned limbs. Though her face is human-like in nature, it is not precise. Spotting the differences in human faces was occasionally challenging to you, but something about hers felt a little off. Maybe an eye too many? And do humans ever normally have those little antennae? You are quickly snapped out of your thoughts as the being asks you a question. So, are you a member of the dominant species on this planet? I'd love a tour if you wanted to show me what people do for fun around here. You consider her request for a second. What do people do for fun? Well, you suppose you have a couple of ideas. Show her what your daily life is like. Show her what a specific human's daily life is like. Show her the village. Encourage her to leave your woods. I'll show her a specific human. The dominant species? You suppose that would be humans, if you understand what she's asking. You're not one of them, but you do know one of them, now that you think about it. Without any further hesitation, you tell her that you can lead her to the most important one you know. Wait, are you actually, taking me to your leader? I didn't think that actually happens. She exclaims as you grab her by the hand and lead her through the woods. You of course explain to her that they're not your leader, just your parent. You're reasonably sure these are different things, at least. This sparks a lively discussion about what a parent is exactly. She seems to have a slightly different perspective than yours. Something about forges and great flames, but it allows the two of you to happily reminisce on your way to the recluse's hut. Mommy! When you arrive, you mark your presence by excitedly knocking at the door twice, then simply barging in. The recluse is standing nearby, stewing something dark upon their simple stove. They are surprised to see you for a moment, and even more surprised to see your travel companion, but they manage to calm down quickly enough. Wow, so this is the dominant species, huh? What do you guys call yourselves? The copper girl exclaims, leading in to examine them more closely. To their credit, the recluse seems unfazed by this somewhat blunt method of questioning. They begin to explain that they are a human, then the subject turns to you, particularly the matter of your creation. The recluse takes joy in recalling their encounter with the witch of the woods, then goes on to nostalgically detail your upbringing. Of course, you are a little embarrassed by the sudden attention, and unfortunately your guest seems perhaps a little left out. She awkwardly sits there, nodding politely when it is appropriate, and chuckling at the little jokes the recluse makes. When the recluse invites both of you to join them for dinner, you accept, but the copper girl declines. That sounds like so cool, but I think I'm going to, go look to see if there's, anything else going around here. Her voice lifts slightly at the end of the sentence, but you don't really think she's asking a question. You and the recluse say goodbye to her as she skitters off to find something a little more exciting. But at least it was a nice excuse to visit your parent. Walking around the village one day, you overhear a gaggle of fun-sized humans giggling the time away. Fun-sized humans. You gradually sneak up on them and get close. Remarkably close. They don't really seem to care that you're there. Hey, wait, are they ignoring you on purpose? The nerve of some fleshies. At least you can listen into whatever seems to be so engrossing. How much? One of the children exclaims. Her jaw dropped in sheer awe of another kid, whose chest is proudly puffed out. With a grin, the child reiterates, enough to buy 3 bags of candy. No fair, another child cries out. When I lost mine, all she brought me was enough for a hoop and a stick. The other kids looked at the child with pity. Hoop and stick was so last season. Well, anyway, the boastful kid continues, I have another one loose, so I can expect even more candy here soon. What? That's not fair. I want to lose a tooth. You're younger than me. What gives? It's probably because of all that candy, one of the kids said, getting met with only a shrug from the proud child as he snacked on his treats. Whatever, I'm gonna go home and pull my tooth out myself, and when you see me next, I'll have 4 bags of candy. The girl stormed off, determined to come into some coin of her own. Which is odd, when you think about it. Do these kids get money for their teeth? Do they sell their other parts? You wonder briefly about the value of a kidney when you hear one of the gremlins shout, be sure to put it under your pillow. Aha, you realize there's a caveat. One must need a tooth, then store it under the pillow, and then money? Last you checked, what you'd considered your teeth grow back after some time. This could be proven to be a lucrative venture. At length you arrive home and find yourself less certain about this than you were in the village. It's not like the fun-sized humans are known for their honesty. You pause a moment and think, 1 tooth won't kill you, go for it. Decide against it. Yeah, let's meet the tooth fairy. Not wanting to put any more time in attempting to convince yourself otherwise, you reach up into your mouth, grab a hold of what passes in your body as a tooth. Slowly, steadily, pressure builds and you pull, and then, ow! That hurts quite a bit. No matter what, your tooth won't come out. Your body is too tough to let it wrench free. You could always force it, but you're not sure that's such a great idea. No. Something tells you that this is a bad idea. Perhaps it's the throbbing pain in your mouth. This doesn't seem to be worth your time anyway. Maybe you'll just have to take one of those Munchkin's teeth someday, for science. A chilling breeze greets you one morning, heralding the approach of winter. The end of the year approaches, and you find yourself considering your aspirations. You want to accomplish something significant, you decide, something you'll remember. Take on a dangerous quest, attend a charming evening at the gala, decide not to pursue anything. Let's do a quest. You've been on some particularly challenging quests, possible tests of your merit. Of the potential opportunities, you decide to slay a beast. Don't do a quest. Actually don't do a quest. Too dangerous. Let's go to the gala. This could be an opportunity to celebrate the year or invite someone you wish to grow closer with. Invite a girl that's out of this world. Invite the person who raised you. Let's invite mom. You know that the recluse is not a fan of crowds. However, the thought of attending the gala with them appeals to you. Besides, you couldn't imagine a better person to laugh at normal humans with. The gala isn't until the end of the year. That should be plenty of time to pay the recluse a visit. While aimlessly wandering one day, you decide that the best use of your time would be to do some scouting. It's always useful to expand your mental map of the area. The country near your home is lush, with many diverse landscapes to be found. You decide to head to the north, toward a particularly damp, dense forest that's home to a variety of useful plants. As a child, this is where you knew to get medicine plants from, but there was always danger there as well. You step into the forest, feeling a humid breeze on your fungal cheek. There's an omnipresent buzz of insects pervading the air. This section of forest feels much different than where you live, and you find that it's hard to feel at peace. Despite this, the flora and fauna is resplendent. You find yourself looking from plant to plant. Finally, you see something quite interesting. A beautiful, large, pink flower stands tall in a nearby clearing. The petals are twisted, forming a large sparkling bud that is larger than your head. The single flower is the distinction of the plant, but you observe that its stalk is robust and strangely segmented. It feels a bit like a monolith. For a moment, you simply stand and stare at it. Something about this strange plant leaves you with a feeling of awe. You suspect that you may be able to sell this flower in the market for quite a pretty penny, or perhaps keep its splendor for yourself. Let's pick the flower. I would. In time, if left alone, the flower will eventually die here. When you think about it, there's really no harm in taking it from these woods. Without spending too long in thought, you walk up to the plant and grab the flower by the stem. Oof! When you do, the flower opens its eye. This, understandably, gives you quite a shock. You leap back, seeing the flower unfold in front of your own eyes. It takes you a moment of processing to understand, but finally you make the connection. This is not a plant at all. It is a beast. Its eye is large, still haloed by the petals that had initially attracted you. To be frank, it's hard to entirely understand the shape of it in the commotion. You do understand that it has a hefty central mass, mossy green and camouflaged, in with stems and stalks. You also came to understand that its body itself is not a solid form, as it splits horizontally down the middle. Inside is an array of sharp and uneven white stones. In another second, you understood these two. Teeth. Before it could make itself even more known to you, you figured it was time to do something. Try to fight or flee. Let's flee. This is scary. As soon as the impulse hits you, you take off. The unfamiliarity of the terrain barely matters to you as you let your feet guide your path. Finally, as you reach the edge of the forest, you collapse as the exhilaration passes you. The thing had stopped giving pursuit ages ago, and yet you still kept running until now. Perhaps at a certain point it became more about the excitement of the chase. Nevertheless, you are safe. You make your way home, thinking about the strange creature you had encountered. It's nice out today, so you've decided to have a picnic. This house picture is beautiful. Love that so much. After wandering around for some time, you come across a quaint house with a bell. Just as you begin to wonder the purpose it serves, the bell rings and several children run out and begin to play. A small group of them take notice of and subsequently surround you. With their curiosity thoroughly piqued, you have a few ways to proceed. Invite them to join you, curtsy and introduce yourself politely. I guess I'd be polite. Yay, I'm cute. Oh, I have a picnic with the girlies. While wandering through the woods near your home, you suddenly hear something rustling in the foliage ahead of you. Before you can react, a large boar bursts from the brush and locks eyes with you. You sense an intense, flaming aura of determination emanate off this wild hog. You're sure you came prepared for this. Run for your life. It's just a pig, right? Face it head on. Oh, we'll give him a sample. Ooh, nice. It would be far better for you to lose a little of yourself than a lot, so you come up with the strategy. You manage to pick off a decent-sized piece of your cap and hurl it at the pig, who aggressively begins to tear into the chunk of mushy flesh. While it's busy, you quickly run off to safety. Better safe than sorry. One afternoon, while sitting at home, you realize something. Today is the day of the town's end-of-the-year gala. This is something you've been anticipating. You were thrilled when your parent agreed to join you. They must be on their way now. Chapter 4. The Recluse's Big Night Out. When your daughter had suddenly suggested that you attend a large social function in town, you were a little torn. You knew that you had to do it, in the same sense you would have to do any silly little thing she asks, because she is your child and you love her. But this... Simply put, you're unsure where she gets her taste for such things. It's surely not from you. As the sun approached its zenith, you knew you could be arriving at her home any moment. Then the two of you could share the walk to town. Though you are regularly forced to make brief visits to the village, you do your best to avoid the hustle and bustle of the more populated areas. Tonight would be an exception. Finally, you could see the dot of maroon in the distance. Jupiter. Greet her with a hug. A nice pat on the shoulder will do. Let's do hug. Oh, now we're back to the recluse's perspective. As she approaches, you rush up and greet her with a tight hug. Two of you decide to begin the long walk to the location of the gala. The most direct path has you passing through the village, a walk that the two of you have taken together quite often. This evening, the town is lively. Many seem to be making preparations for the gala, and you find that your daughter's attention has been thoroughly captured by someone selling floral accessories. You will find your corsages are the finest in the land, the salesman claims. You find yourself dubious, but Jupiter has a sparkle in her eye. Flowers, this girl's... Yeah, let's buy it for her. Ah, what the hell. This girl so rarely seeks out material goods. You feel as though she deserves a little treat. You take the coins from your purse and, much to her surprise, purchase one of the flowered bracelets. Without further ado, you slip it into her arm. Thankfully, it's a natural fit. The salesman thanks you, and you and your daughter continue the trek. With the dark matter settled, the two of you finished your comfortable walk to the estate that the gala was held at. You find yourself thinking about this event. It's one that you have heard about for many years, yet you've never felt the urge to learn more. As the large building entered your sight, you can't help but think that you'd still rather avoid it. Alas, it was out of your hands. Thankfully, your daughter looked pleased enough for the both of you. Perhaps it was the spectacle? Just seeing all of these people around, donning fancy clothes and smug looks. Maybe she didn't notice those, or maybe they were all in your head. Before you can dwell any longer, Jupiter grabs your hand and drags you in. As you enter, your senses are overwhelmed with all of the things that humans do at events like this. Musicians in the corner, chirping away on their instruments, the wafting aroma of food and drink, far fancier than you are used to. A wonderland of human creation, by humans, for humans. Sometimes you feel as though you don't fit into that category, or that you must not if you don't enjoy such things. But now, for now, you overlook the man-made chaos. You and Jupiter wander the gala for a while, familiarizing yourself with the locale. Finally, after getting a good look at everything, you find yourself tiring. You sit at a table, and Jupiter sits behind you. While sitting, you and your daughter can't help but overhear some concerning nearby chatter. It would appear that a dance-off is to take place. Unfortunately, a dance-off does not seem to refer to turning dancing off. Evidently, it's some manner of intense tournament where the last dancers left standing win. You can see the gears in Jupiter's head spinning. She wants to participate in the contest, no doubt. But you're not sure you can do it. I don't feel particularly competitive. The weight of the gala has finally caught up with you. You stand, excusing yourself with a quick excuse to Jupiter, and quickly make your way back to the front courtyard of the castle. With the gala in full swing, the exterior is pleasantly abandoned. You finally feel as though you can breathe. Before long, someone else exits the building and joins you. Jupiter. Wordlessly, she simply joins you in your idling. After a few minutes, she thanks for you to come. After a few minutes, she thanks you for coming to the gala with her, but says that the two of you could leave now if you wanted. Oh, this is so sweet. I'm ready to go. Let's stand here for just a few more minutes. Her kindness is not lost on you. You appreciate just how thoughtful your daughter is, much more so than most others you have known in your life. You and Jupiter share a comfortable silence in the courtyard, watching the snow fall. Finally, you are ready to depart. two of you trek back to her home, where you give her a hug and say goodnight. Then you make the brief journey back to your abode. Thankfully, the gala wasn't as horrible as you feared it might be, and you always enjoy spending the time with Jupiter. Hopefully next time she'll pick something a little more secluded. Chapter 3. Again. Attending the gala with your parents was a lot of fun, and honestly they managed to play along for longer than you had expected. The fact that they even agreed to all meant a lot to you. It showed how far they would go to try to make you happy. How lucky you are to have a parent that loves you so much. As you grow older, you look back over your life. You think back to the witch who created you, and can't help but wonder if everything met her expectations. You wonder if you were the daughter your parent had hoped for. After all this time, you have grown up. So I got the same ending. I made it out alive, but it got a new mushroom unlocked. Also, wow, that was a really long path. The whole, like, the story, the witch's story in the middle of that made it extra long. What's this? Oh, truffle. So she's a level 3 or level 4. 3 stars. Ooh, I see. There are some choices you make that give you the little stars, so maybe this means that I got 3-star choices and it unlocked this character. It's like there are so many mushrooms to unlock. Okay. I'm back with another recording session. So far I've unlocked little brown mushroom, poisonous mushroom, fly agaric, Pixie's parasol, and the truffle, which we just did in the last video. No, this is I just did the truffle in the last recording session. I've had 3 live, 1 die. I've had 3 live and 1 die. So let's see what ending we get next. Once upon a time, there was a humble recluse. So we've already seen this intro already. We know we're trying to get a child. And this time... Oh, I should have read that. Bring me an heirloom. Bring me an heirloom, something she will forever value. A dark weathered tome, a glimmering music box, or most used cast iron skillet. Let's go with the music box. I want this daughter to be... I wonder if there's a pink mushroom we can unlock. A soft, beautiful tune. A soft, beautiful tune played from the jeweled box. It had been created to bring joy and beauty to all around it, which you found admirable in theory. The recluse hoped that their daughter could have that privilege, to think she could focus on soft things like music and avoid the dark, painful things in life. Yes, this is the vibe we're going for. How perfect. After their brief detour to meet with the witch, the recluse resumed their normal day-to-day schedule. Second day. The recluse slept more soundly that night than they had in ages. Having a purpose again soothed them, even if they had found themselves caught up with a witch. They elected not to think about that, though. Instead, when the morning came... They elected not to think about that, though. Instead, when the morning came, they simply did what they had to do. Which is to say, they got up and went to meet with the witch. Upon watching the recluse's approach, a sardonic smile lit the witch's face. You completed your first task admirably. 2 more and I can finally give you what you want. She paused for only a moment before delivering her next message of import. It's important for a young person to be well-grounded in this world, I hear. Bring me a jar of soil to help with this process. Keep in mind, not all dirt is the same. Yeah. You've seen this before. So we're gonna get soil from the foraging nook, barren spot, a quiet graveyard. Let's do favorite foraging nook. When in need, this spot had never let the recluse down. This time was no different, as dirt was there in abundance. Arriving back at their meeting place, the recluse was excited to share their selection. Feeling the need to scrub their skin, the recluse retired to their hut to cleanse themselves. I did that again. The queen retired. The witch retired. The recluse retired to their butt. The third day. With 2 assignments complete, the recluse could feel their excitement grow. If this witch was being honest, and for some reason they felt that she was, that meant that this could be the last night they spent without a child. They hoped so, at least that was all they could do. Barely remembering to get dressed, the recluse dashed to the meeting spot. Again, the witch had been waiting there for them. Welcome back, recluse. Are you prepared? Today is your big day, is it not? The last task is an easy one, or at least I believe so. Bring me something colorful, something bright. So we want something pink. So, oh, there's a new choice here. The Cave of Indecision. Do I go pink or do I go cave? There was a place the recluse went when they could not make their mind up on a matter. Though their daughter's life was important and every choice may matter, they knew that not every choice was theirs to make. It was unfair to saddle her with all of their expectations. Sometimes it was best to let destiny decide. They entered the darkness of the cave, feeling the soft moss beneath their feet. Once they went far enough back, there was no longer enough light to make out their surroundings. This was far enough. They reached down, taking the first thing they felt into their hands. This is what they would take to the witch. The recluse returned to the witch's hut, colored item in hand. She silently took the object, nodding her head to the recluse in recognition. The recluse stood there for a moment, unsure, before finally the witch realized that what they expected. Oh ho ho, you want your promised daughter, don't you? I suppose I must tell you I lied. First, matter of payment. What haven't I done yet? I haven't done pay me now with life. Why not? We haven't seen it happen yet. They told the witch they would offer life as payment. This young girl needs a proper name. Okay, so this one's gotta be something. We did Cave of Indecision. The mom is not going to be present. Maybe I don't know. I'm thinking Agatha. Let's do Agatha. Though the recluse was unsure of the specifics, they did realize that it was important to heed her instructions. Care for the pot and the dirt and everything that lay within. So the recluse geared up as any parent should and assessed the things they needed to raise a child. Finances in case the nearby village had goods or services that you could not provide. Okay, yeah, blah blah blah, I know how to do this. Okay, this is our mushroom, Agatha. While tapping some trees one day, you overhear a noise. Also, is this the... Okay. Before long, you manage to track down the source. A wingless fairy sitting in the eye of a tree. A human? Oh no. Now I'll be forced to gamble. The fae cried out unconvincingly. I'm the dice fae, you see. I have no choice but to gamble with every human that passes by. You even get to pick the stakes. Okay, some gambling. Rules are simple. If I roll a 5 or less, I win, but if I roll a 6 or higher, well, that means you win. Compelling, right? Gambling with a fairy, what the hell, why not? What do you want to offer? Oh. We're not gonna gamble with our daughter. We can do a coin. Yeah. I'm chicken. But we win. So, I just get some coins. Don't spend it all in one place. Spend a moment scooping them up from the ground before you depart. One evening, you discover many footprints outside your home, three-toed and webbed. Some strange creatures have been poking around. You have heard the rivers of these woods are home to nefarious turtle-like creatures that capture human children, only to bring them home and drown them. Your child isn't a human, but you can feel the of envious eyes from the tree line. They know a precious daughter when they see one. By the looks of the tracks, these ones are quite young. Perhaps you can do something to frighten them away from your home. Hunt one of them, deal with the issue, stand guard until they stop, purchase a magic ward. Keep your daughter inside in the evenings. Stand guard. Turtle creatures are determined, but predictable and easy to frighten. You resolve to stand guard until they give up. Usually the amphibious monsters scout the area before sunset and make their move as soon as darkness falls. Standing at your doorway and brandishing a hatchet, you ward them off each night without fail. Occasionally they test your determination. Their beady eyes, leers, and whispered hooting persisting long after midnight. A sleepless night or two are a small price to pay for your daughter's safety. You successfully outlast them, and after 2 weeks the signs of their intrusion cease. For now, they have given up and you can once again spend your evenings with your daughter, worry-free. The decision being made, life continued. Huh, something's happening. Your daughter has changed in the night. I like this one. One morning you awaken with a weight on your chest and open your eyes to find a heavy mushroom sitting atop you. The creature has grown little arms and legs and demonstrates her newfound mobility by clambering off the bed as you wake. Her demeanor seems cheerful, wandering around in an excitable and inquisitive mood. Encourage her optimism, spend your time nurturing her environment, motivate her to be more practical. Encourage her optimism. Your daughter's development is going better than expected, and you want to promote her cheerful nature. You encourage her to appreciate beautiful things, bringing her to that flower-filled glade you once visited. Enthralled by the wondrous sights, appreciating nature quickly becomes her favorite pastime. She spends much of her time wandering outside. The decision being made, life continued. You haven't been taking very good care of yourself, and you find yourself so worn out that even leaving the house is a challenge. If you continue on without regard for your own stamina, you might very well die. Stay in bed today, you need the rest. You'll sleep when you're dead, which may be very soon. I need the rest. Decision being made, life continued. One evening, you hear a light knocking at your door, quite a rare occurrence. Peeking through the window, you witness none other than the Witch of the Woods standing on the doorstep of your humble hut. Could she be here for a visit or to settle a debt? Okay. Let's introduce her to the daughter. You wonder if they made some sort of connection today. Decision being made, life continued. Oh, this is cute. One morning, you notice that your daughter is nowhere to be seen. After an hour of searching the nearby area, you find her walking in a nearby meadow. To your surprise, the creature had now taken the form of a young girl. You feel relieved to confirm that the witch hadn't betrayed you. At your approach, she turns and grins at you excitedly, before continuing to appreciate her surroundings. Sit and watch her play. Buy her a nice gift to celebrate. Tell her it's time to go home. Let's watch her play. Taking a seat near her, you appreciate the beauty of the forest and spend time thinking lovingly about your daughter. After some time, she tries running about and bringing you pretty things. You pick the exhausted girl up, and the two of you return home. The decision being made, life continued. Your daughter needs food too, and you've just run out. You need to find something to feed her. Soon she'll surely starve. Soon or she'll surely starve. Spend the day gathering nutritious substrate. Yes, we gotta get the food. You awaken only to discover that your daughter is covered in tiny parasitic creatures. For the sake of her health, you should probably find a way to get rid of the little pests. Let's rinse her off. And one night, you find yourself itching your leg. One night, you find yourself struggling to sleep. Your mind wanders as you consider your current place in life. You've lived peacefully with your daughter for many moons. Initially, it was strange. Well, never stopped being strange, but you're always thankful for the company. Besides, the affection you felt for her was like any parent would feel toward their child. That was normal, at least. Your thoughts turn to the concept of time, particularly how you were once alone, and how you are afraid that you will be again someday. Your daughter has had more and more curiosities about the outside world. It's only a matter of time before she wants to strike her own path. You hope you will be fulfilled now. You hope you've done enough. Ultimately, you find comfort in what you've done. You may have had many failures in your life, but there's one thing you know you can be proud of. Ooh, we have green and purple. A new beginning. This is like pistachio and... no, it's more like seafoam. Seafoam and a lovely grape. Telling the recluse that you wanted to see more of the world wasn't an easy conversation. As they grew older, you worried about leaving them on your own. Thankfully, your concerns were unwarranted. They were happy that you've grown enough to want to move out. They even offered to help you build your own home, close to theirs. You were welcome to visit any time, obviously. Faster than you would have anticipated, the two of you built your home together. They showed you all of the tricks they knew and made sure to impart as much knowledge as they possibly could. Finally, the day arrived. You were officially on your own. You were sacred a little, but also excited. It felt like a new chapter was just beginning for you. We got loving parent. A girl on her own. Okay, so this is who we got. A cute mushroom with an adorably vibrant color. This is Agatha. Elegant. Verdigris agaric. Delicate hue. People are more likely to love you. Uncertain. You're a little different every day, and that's a-okay with you. Cool. So we got this green. Ah, this is a pretty color palette. Big fan. Walking around the village one day, you overhear a gaggle of fun-sized humans giggling the time away. Oh yes, classic. This is the Tooth Fairy story. I've seen this a couple times. They're arguing about who has the most money from Tooth Fairy. So how should we respond? Should I pull out a tooth of my own? I'm gonna decide against it. Just as you're about to return home, an unfamiliar type of tree catches your eye. Plum pink orange fruits dangle from a large mass of branches. Upon inspection, you also find plenty scattered around the base of the trunk as well. Climb the tree for the perfect fruit. Take a nap under the big tree. Eat a fruit off the ground at random. Let's climb the tree for the perfect fruit. Hoist yourself up into the branches. After climbing around for a bit, you spot the shiniest, fattest fruit you've ever seen. Keeping a tight grip on your position, you reach out and grab the fruit. Victory is in your grasp. After admiring the view, you climb down. Now it's time to savor your prize. You enjoy it on your walk home, admiring the subtle sweetness. A man wearing vibrant, multicolored robes and a large pack approaches your home. He's heard rumors of beautiful fungal women and has come to paint you. He asks if you will give him the honor of being the first to put your beauty on the canvas. Convince the artist to teach you instead. Accept the artist's request and allow him to paint you, or refuse. Let's get painted. Oh, fail. He gets mad at me. And we kick him out. Jerk. The night sky is clear and beautiful as you sit on a stump atop a small hill looking up. Something catches your eye and you notice the streak of a shooting star. Quick, make a wish. Wish to be blessed with delicious food, wish to stay in good health, wish to grow stronger, wish for the star itself, wish for people of the kingdom to live peaceful lives, or wish it to rain tomorrow. Okay. Last time I did rain, I want to wish for the people to live peaceful lives. You head to bed that night hoping your wish helps even just one person who is struggling out in the wide world. You fall asleep with a warm, fuzzy feeling. You feel a crisp breeze. The heat is relenting. Trees are changing in color. Fall has arrived. There's a knock at your door. When you go to answer it, you see a man dressed in an elegant black suit. "Are you the fungal woman of the woods?" he asks, as though seeing you from the mushy flesh was not enough. "My employer wishes to invite you to a small dinner gathering. She's heard much about you and thinks her guests would relish the chance to actually be acquainted with you." You stand there slightly in shock as the man proceeds to outline the details of the event. When you should arrive, what sort of clothing you should wear. Oh, when you should arrive, what sort of clothing you should wear. Oh, do you wear clothing? I'll have to double check the dress code. Etc. Finally, after handing you a small scrap of paper with elegant writing on it and bidding you adieu, the man left your doorstep. You think about the event that's been described to you and ultimately come to a decision. We are not meddling in the affairs of humans. You're awoken in the middle of the night by a loud crash from your kitchen. You scramble to investigate and finally catch the source. A man hunched over in pain in the middle of your cooking nook. He spots you and seems to panic, waving his hands around. Wait, it's not what it looks like. Well, it's exactly what it looks like, but I injured myself, so I'm no longer pursuing that plan. Why don't you bless a poor fool and choose to excuse my rudeness? let's excuse his rudeness. With a sigh, you help the man to a more comfortable seating situation. It appears that he may have injured his legs somehow in the fall. After a short while, he seems more comfortable moving around. Thank you kindly for the help, ma'am. He seems appreciative and shockingly charismatic. He gives you a sly grin and a wave before leaving you to your own business. One evening, you witness a strange occurrence as you approach your home. A pair of humans are huddled in a nearby bush, watching your house intently. Eyes locked on the strange abode, they don't notice your approach. It appears they're here to spy on you? You, in turn, find a wooded spot nearby to sit and observe the pair. They don't appear to be armed, but carry large oblong packs and travel gear. How strange. After several minutes of observation, you consider what to do about the humans. Just walk up and greet them. Wait for them to leave. We annoyed them before. But these guys seem okay. Finally deciding they don't pose a threat, you casually walk toward the hiding spot, calling out a friendly greeting as you approach. They turn to you, wide-eyed in amazement. "It really is here," one yelps. "She actually speaks." The other chimes in excitedly. They look like academics, field researchers. Still confused, you inquire what it is they exactly want from you, which leaves them at a bit of a loss. "To see you, I suppose. We wanted to..." The second researcher interrupts. "To see the legendary mushroom creature of the witchy woods." The two explain to you that they seek out unexplainable events concerning unknown creatures, and simply look into the matter. How curious. "We really should be heading out," one says nervously. "It is said that the Witch of the Woods kills any human who wanders the woods at night." You wave them away uncertainly, considering the creatures they spoke of, yet undiscovered, unique encounters. It's strangely fascinating. With the unusual experience still occupying your thoughts, you retire for the day. A chilling breeze greets you one morning, heralding the approach of winter. The end of the year approaches and you find yourself considering your aspirations. You want to accomplish something significant, you decide, something you'll remember. Take on a dangerous quest, attend a charming event at the gala, decide not to pursue anything. Oh. I accidentally clicked on the quest. So we slay a beast. Okay. Let's try to slay a beast. You awake to the eerie sound of singing. As if your body isn't your own, the cool night air is drawn over your flesh upon leaving the house. And just outside you see a group of tiny fairies dancing and singing inside a ring of sprouted mushrooms. One of them spots you, watching, and motions you closer. Go forward and play with the fairies, try to capture some of them, go back to bed. Let's play with the fairies. As time moves forward, so do you. The fairies guide you deep into the woods. You wonder if you're going somewhere secret. One of the fairies makes an odd noise. Then they all scatter, leaving behind faint trails of lights and the echoes of tiny laughter. The little fae have left you in the middle of the woods, and you spend the rest of the night finding your way home. While on your way to gather firewood, you find that your world is suddenly turned upside down, quite literally. After a second of disorientation, you suss out that you somehow walked yourself right into a trap. Your foot is above you, caught in a thick rope loop. You call for help, hoping someone is nearby. Thankfully, that seems to be the case. When the figure gets close enough for you to see, you feel a sense of familiarity. It's a thief who attempted to rob you in the night. "Why, hello there," he greets. "You seem a little high-strung today." His joke falls flat on you. Nonetheless, he's quick to help cut you down. "I'm sorry for the inconvenience. I wasn't trying to catch you." "I'll tell you what. To make up for it, plus the attempted robbery the other night, why don't I teach you a thing or two? Of course, my areas of knowledge are rather narrow." We don't need to learn from this guy. Very well, I certainly understand that my bohemian lifestyle is not suited to all. Here, take this token instead. If you ever find yourself in a tough spot and in need of some kindness from a criminal, perhaps it will come in useful. After handing you a small engraved metal disc and giving you a polite wave, he retreats back into the depths of the woods. Eventually, you successfully retrieve your firewood and head home. Walking through the forest one day, you think to take a path yet untraveled. The road you follow is old, time-worn rivulets and fresh dung pock the path. As underbrush chokes it from either side. Regardless, the smell of adventure hangs in the air, and it smells wonderful. The wind carries a fragrance clear into your heart, and stirs it with an intense curiosity. Before long, you find another, even tighter path branching off from where you're walking, and soon you break out into a glade. The area is smaller than a hut, but in the center of its intimate bow stands a statue, long since forgotten. Let's examine the statue. The statue is of a child. The craftsmanship alone is worth commending. Proportions are incredibly lifelike. The figure's hair is short but detailed, with every strand perfectly held in place. There is a pain in the statue's eyes, one of loss and grief. It seems, standing there, that she is almost making eye contact with you. Suddenly aware of your surroundings, you feel a slight discomfort on the breeze, and cast your eyes away from the girl's stare. Underneath, a plaque makes up the base of the statue. Without the skill to read, however, you can only surmise that this is the grave marker, one for a girl long lost to the world. You pause for a moment before turning your attention back to the glade at large. It feels as though there's a presence watching you from beyond the trees, but you chalk it up to nerves. To examine the glade. While the opening is small, there's enough room to wander around. Trees on all sides prevent you leaving aside from the way you came, and a thick canopy prevents light from flooding in, leaving only the spare ray of illumination. There really isn't much to the glade, aside from the plants littering the forest floor, several different herbs that have been cultivated to produce sublime results. You meander around the glade, eventually finding a plant you originally mistook for a bush. Its branches are heavy and the primary source of the fragrance you caught on the wind. You break off a piece, enamored by the aroma, and store it on your person. Glancing around, the statue catches your eye. Leave the glade. Oh, do we get a little something? Fragrant rosemary. Found rosemary. That's cool. Feeling as though there are eyes watching you, you gather yourself and head back toward the more familiar paths. Today, in the dead of winter, all things in the forest lie still. Even so, you are on a hunt. You've heard rumors of a terrible beast that haunts these woods throughout the winter. When all else is quiet, it turns its appetite to the nearby villagers. So you've taken it upon yourself to hunt the beast, perhaps winning renown among those who spend their winter months in fear. Approaching the section of forest the creature had been sighted in most recently, you carefully consider your options. Search for the signs of the beast. Let's search for the signs of the beast. The snow is fresh and loose. You wander around looking for animal tracks, but they are so distinct that you soon become unable to tell which ones are your own. The beast has almost certainly been through this area, but you garner very little useful information for your hunt. The mycelium on your back of your neck stand up, registering the sound of a low growl before you even notice it. The beast is here, now. The beast approaches you brazenly, a haggard wolf, eyes burning with ravenous hunger. Standing nearly as tall as you, its iron thews show prominently under its lithe frame and aging gray pelt. Its tremendously proportioned head and glinting white teeth tell you just how effective at killing this creature is, and a blood-stained maw leaves no room for doubt. This is the monster the villagers speak of, a terrible man-eating beast. You tighten your grip on your trusty knife, steeling your nerves. Hesitation here may spell death. I think we charge at the beast. You suddenly rush towards the beast, your knife point heading to charge. In a practiced motion, you slash at the wolf as it attempts to twist away. A bloody red line now shows on its flank, a shallow cut. You scarcely have time to consider your next tactic before you notice movement in the corner of your eye. You sidestep just in time to avoid the gnashing bite of a second wolf, a dark, pelted beast just as large and ravenous as the first. Two great wolves now circle the clearing, teeth bared and salivating menacingly. Push one into the bushes, attempt to slay them both, cut your losses, and abscond. Let's abscond. You realize that you were ill prepared for this hunt, and slaying these beasts isn't worth risking your own life. The wolves are quick to react, and the talented hunters keep pace as you run through the woods, snapping viciously at every opportunity. Several exhausting hours later, you have managed to evade them. Well, more accurately, you found a tree they couldn't climb and hid until the beast gave up and let you be. Your hunt was a failure, but at least you are alive. As you grow older, you look back over your life. You think back to the witch who created you and can't help but wonder if everything met her expectations. You wonder if you were the daughter your parent had hoped for. You have grown up. So we got, after all this time, achievement. Just means that we survived. I have to figure out how to get better endings though. So I did get this cool mushroom. I got number 8. Vidigris agaric. I don't know. Cute mushroom. So, yep. Still have only found 2 endings. Living and dying. I'm sure there was an ending we missed with the truffle one where we go into the house. I don't know. But let's try to get a pink. Let's try to go for a pink mushroom. Once upon a time, there's a humble recluse, and blah blah blah. She wanted a daughter. Our first task is... Oh, these are tasks to do for the witch. Which one should we do? Organize a surprisingly understated collection of keepsakes. Prepare the witch a comforting meal. Test a selection of elixirs for quality. Let's organize the keepsakes. Why not see what the witch's most prized personal possessions look like? It's not like they would ever get this chance after all. The recluse spent a quiet afternoon, carefully unpacking and rearranging her belongings, silently speculating to themselves about the sort of life this witch has led. Arriving back to their meeting point, the recluse was excited to report their progress to the witch. Ah, very good. How kind of you. After quickly wiping themselves down, the recluse returned to their hut for the remainder of the night. Second day. The recluse slept more soundly that night than they had in ages. Having a purpose again soothed them, even if they had found themselves caught up with a witch. They went back to meet with the witch. And for the second task, we need to get the soil. I didn't mean to click on that one. We got barren soil this time. And we're gonna try to get the pink. Let's go with a flower. Maybe there's a pink flower. If someone wanted color, the field was filled with overwhelming choice. Purple, pumpkin, vidigris, milkweed, black pansies. There's no pink. Okay. Then let's do the pumpkin. Pumpkin. Their daughter would be unique, like a single gourd sitting proudly in a field of daisies. Just like the pumpkin in their hands was before they took it. We got pumpkin. This is pretty. It's like green and orange. She silently took the object, nodding her head to the recluse in recognition. The recluse stood there for a moment unsure, before finally the witch realized what they expected. So, give me my daughter. How are we going to pay? Let's do... Pay me soon in larger quantities. So this pumpkin fella, her name is going to be oh, the name for pumpkin seed is Pepita. Let's name her Pepita. Then she walked away, only fate knowing if the two should ever meet again. Though the recluse was unsure of the specifics, they did not realize that it was important to heed her instructions. Care for the pot and the dirt and everything that lay within. Okay, so nutrients for the child and blah blah blah. Let's take care of the mushroom baby. Cute little mushroom, Pepita. Flock of hungry birds have been harassing both your crops and your daughter recently. In fact, they're becoming quite the nuisance. Ignore the birds, hunt the birds, purchase some poison for the birds. Let's ignore the birds. Nothing will be done. Pests will be pests, but life must carry on. Nothing more could be done to the birds. The matter was laid to rest. Recently, you've begun to think about your daughter's living quarters, specifically her pot. You have a few ideas how to improve it, but you only have so much time, which you decide to move forward with. Infuse the soil with a drop of your own blood. Ensure that her soil remains ever damp. Buy some fancy substrate, decorate the pot, or use your cooking scraps as compost. Ooh, let's do the cooking scraps as compost. Recently when cooking you have noticed some waste. Perhaps the peels and scraps that you normally throw in the woods could have better use. You begin to place small fragments of your meal in a special bin. It almost feels as though you're sharing a meal with your daughter, and that thought brings you warmth. Hopefully she likes your cooking. She'll have a lot of it in her life. Her quality of life is being improved. Life continued. Huh? Something's happening. Cute little mushroom daughter. One morning you awaken with a weight on your chest and open your eyes to find a heavy mushroom sitting atop you. The creature has grown little arms and legs and demonstrates her newfound mobility by clambering off the bed as you wake. Her demeanor seems cheerful, wandering about in an excitable and inquisitive mood. Encourage her optimism, spend time nurturing her environment, be more practical. Let's have her be practical. Concerned about your daughter's optimistic nature, you think it's best that she learns to be discerning and helpful. You take some time out of your days to teach her simple skills and activities to keep her busy. She doesn't really enjoy sitting still and learning, but over time becomes quite a capable young girl. The decision being made, life continued. One evening, you hear a light knocking at your door, quite a rare occurrence. Peeking through the window, it's the witch of the woods, blah blah. Pretend you aren't home, give her payment in full, with interest, ask her to postpone collection. Let's give it to her in full. Cool. Alright, you've been irresponsible with your funds. One more necessary expense and you won't have enough food to survive. You loathe to interact with others, but you may have to find some work in town. Let's get to work. We've got to work for our daughter. Cutie daughter. Okay. One morning, you notice that your daughter's nowhere to be seen. She's in the meadow. Let's watch her play. Another knock at the door. Unfortunately, when you go to answer, you find yourself face to face with a man that you never wish to see again. Though he was older now, the scar running down his cheek was unmistakable. It took me a while to find you this time, recluse. The sound of his voice sends a long-forgotten chill down your spine. This man is your former business partner, from a time when you did work that was less than admirable. I'm sure all this time alone has given you plenty of time to reflect. Are you finally ready to get back to business? Beg the man to leave you alone, agree to do business, give the man a significant sum of money to go away, or kill the man. Let's beg the man to leave us alone. You're older now than you were before. Things that used to suit you no longer do. Though it is not something you often find yourself prone to doing, you drop to your knees and clasp your hands together. You explain that you are a parent now. There's a reason you live outside of society, and you would appreciate it if he simply allows you to continue the way you are now. He listens to your words carefully, and his response comes slowly. I suppose I'll accept that, but only if you kiss my boot. Do you kiss the man's boot? Okay. I don't want to kiss the man's boot, but, you know... No, we're not kissing the man's boot. We're not subjecting ourselves to such degradation. Your response brought a smirk to his face. Then I think you'll find you don't have much of a choice, partner. He slaps your shoulder playfully, then turns away from you. Here, take this as an advance payment. I'll be seeing you again soon. You watch him walk away. Hopefully, this wouldn't present too much of a problem for you in the future. Your daughter needs food too, and you've just run out. You need to find something to feed her soon, or she'll surely starve. Let's gather. Heaps and heaps of substrate. Alright, you've lived peacefully for many moons. You blah blah, you think about your daughter, you've done enough. Whoa. That was a lot of achievements right there. A new beginning. We've got this like reddish pink color, which I was shooting for pink, so... Telling the recluse that you wanted to see more of the world wasn't an easy conversation. As they grew older, you worried about leaving them on their own. Thankfully, your concerns were unwarranted. They were happy that you had grown enough to want to move out. They even offered to help you to build your own home, close to theirs. You were welcome to visit any time, obviously. Faster than you would have anticipated, the two of you built your home together. They showed you all the tricks they knew, and they made sure to impart as much knowledge as they possibly could. Finally, the day arrived. You were officially on your own. You were scared, a little, but also excited. It felt like a new chapter was just beginning for you. Chapter 3, A Girl on Her Own. Oh, I've got this one before. Pepita, elegant little brown mushroom. Unidentifiable, uncertain, incompetent, underdeveloped loser cries often. Did not get proper care. While foraging one day, you discover a dilapidated outhouse in the middle of the forest. You wonder what it's doing here. After all, the surrounding area is all land that had clearly been abandoned for some time. Inspect the facility, use the facility. Wow, a random outhouse all the way out here. And it has all the fixins too. Cobwebs, dust. Ew, what is that? And a full pit latrine. Wait, full? Wow, there's a lot of fertilizer in there. Clearly the facility has been in use, despite the surrounding land appearing relatively unchanged for quite some time. Oh hey, there's even a small burlap pouch beside the seat. Well, you know what they say, something something sees the day. Or was that... Either way, you are now the proud owner of a fresh, pungent pouch of night soil. Would you like a breath mint on the way out as well? A man wearing vibrant, multicolored robes and a large pack approaches your home. He's heard rumors of a beautiful fungal woman has come to paint you. Okay. Usually it doesn't go well when we ask him to paint us. So let's learn how to paint. So we learn how to paint. We get some paints, brushes, and small bits of parchment. While walking down a heavily wooded path, you notice a disheveled woman slumped mournfully against the base of a tree. She hears numerous scratches and light wounds, as well as a peculiar coal-black lips. Her clothes are torn and dirty, but despite this, you can tell they were once expensive. Curiosity piqued, and you approach the woman, asking if she needs help with something. The woman grimaces, shaking her head. "Nothing can be done for me. I have been sentenced to death." As she speaks, you notice her tongue is stained, as if she had been licking ink. Can't help but feel intrigued, so you insist. What does she mean? "A few weeks ago, I was walking through these woods when I witnessed the most beautiful woman I had ever known, picking flowers, alone. I am ashamed to say I was so taken by her stunning looks that I followed the woman, aiming to at least ask her name. I discovered far too late, however, that it was no woman, but the witch of the woods herself." Your eyes widen. Few humans would even speak of the witch. To follow her into the forest is regarded as, well, a death sentence. Not if it was a punishment or... I know not if it was a punishment or fulfillment of my unspoken request, but upon my approach she twisted around and met me with a terrifyingly intense kiss. When I came around again, I bore a terrible curse. She visibly trembles, pulling at the tattered ends of her elegant dress. Solid cobbles seem to shift under my feet, and steady tools writhe like snakes in my grasp, conspiring to be dropped. I've been doomed to fail at all things. I've lost my work, my coin, and cannot even prepare food or forage without injuring myself. It has reached the point where I can do nothing but sit here and await. She trails off, pursing her blackened lips. Again, the doomed lady falls against the tree. Staring blankly, it's apparent that she has utterly lost her will to go on. A cursed kiss from the witch of the woods? How unexpected. Let's tell her to pursue a romance. The witch is totally into her. You tell the doomed woman that the witch clearly kissed her as a display of romantic interest. That's usually what it means when someone kisses you, after all. The doomed woman regards you with a sad look. Huh? Is she pitying you? "You are naive in matters of romance," she says with a light chuckle. Is romance somehow more complicated than you expected? Perhaps you still have a lot to learn. "I thank you, though. You've lifted my spirits somewhat, and I may yet find a path forward. Come look for me again sometime, and I'll be thankful for the company." Somewhat deflated, you head home. What an intriguing woman. You feel a crisp breeze. The heat is relenting. Trees are changing in color. Fall has arrived. You are awoken in the middle of the night by a loud crash from your kitchen. You scramble to investigate and finally catch the source of the racket. A man hunched over in pain in the middle of your cooking nook. Oh, this guy again. We're kicking this butt out of here. Kick him out. Kick him out. Kick him out. And then we hear the kids about the tooth fairy. We know this one. We're not doing the tooth. Not pulling out our teeth. Oh, oops, what is this one? The mountains bordering the northern reaches of the forest call to you. You see them every day on your adventures, and there is an overwhelming desire to climb that simply can't be ignored. Readying yourself in the early hours of the morning, you glance over the materials you have on hand. Yeah, we're gonna pack light. Your pack sits comfortably on your shoulders and allows for your full range of movement. With your pack all set, you make your way out to the mountain. After a couple hours of climbing, you feel like you've made some decent progress, though you're starting to get a bit tired. Just as you think it's time for a break, you come across a beautiful mountain spring, complete with its own waterfall. Take a relaxing shower? Yes. No one's around, and you do feel awfully sweaty from all your exertion. You take this as a prime opportunity to briefly refresh yourself under the waterfall. The water is frigid, but the icy touch is almost invigorating. You wash away any and all muggy exhaustion and leave with a spring in your step. After your rest, you continue up the trail to the mountain's peak. The air thins and trees become sparse. You have reached the top. You can see the whole region from up here. Myriad hamlets, roadways winding between them, and beautiful mountain ranges. But one peak in particular stands out to you, the only mountain in the region taller than the one under your feet. Far to the east, beyond the village, across from the old ruins, the great mountain calls to you. A burning urge wells up inside you. Maybe someday you'll conquer that one as well. Have lunch, sit in silence, watch the town from above. We're having lunch. Your packed lunch is even tastier from the mountain air. Your time at the top of the mountain has come to an end. When you arrive home, you sprawl out onto your bed, exhausted from your adventure. While out running errands, you find that the town is much more active than usual. Through some chance encounters, you get the impression that a sort of traveling festival has been set up outside the town. Looking around, you do happen to spot a few people in very vibrant clothes. Out of curiosity, you follow them toward a gathering of colorful tents. As you stand there gawking, you get the feeling that you've wandered into the entertainer's living area rather than finding your way into the show itself. There are people practicing a routine, people tossing colored rods back and forth, a man sharpening knives, as well as a large number of other eccentric activities. Let's get a closer look at the jugglers. While trying to approach the group, you hear one of them shout, "Watch out!" The warning comes a moment too late, however, as you feel one of the batons hit you right in the face. Ouch. Causes you to stumble back. Out of embarrassment, you cover your face and rush back home without a second look. A chilling breeze greets you one morning, heralding the approach of winter. The end of the year approaches and you find yourself considering your aspirations. You want to accomplish something significant, something you'll remember. Let's pursue a great aspiration. There is something you wanted to accomplish, actually. You need some great achievement to end a year on a high point. Conquer the Great Mountain. The last mountain you scaled proved a fun challenge, and your heart burns with ambition. You recall seeing a taller mountain, a more perilous and remote peak far to the east. You recall seeing a taller mountain, more perilous and remote peak to the far east. Preparations will take some time, but you are determined to conquer the mountain before the end of the year. As you go out to forage mushrooms one evening, you find a large batch of edible shrooms gathered near a stump. Unfortunately, upon closer inspection, they are infested with countless small worms. Gather up the worms, watch the wriggly little guys for a bit, try to find a slightly less infested batch. It's added protein, right? Less infested. You aren't one to give up easily, so you leave the infested mushrooms behind and keep foraging. Spend a bit longer out than you had hoped, but you do manage to find a decent haul of tasty, infestation-free mushrooms to bring home. The night sky is clear and beautiful as you sit on a stump atop a small hill looking up. Something catches your eye, and you notice the streak of a shooting star. Quick, make a wish. Let's wish to grow stronger. The next day you find your chores much easier on you and think you feel a bit tougher. There's a knock at your door. A man in a black suit. Another... Dude, we're not going. Oh, we could go to the event as an artist. This is the perfect opportunity for you to try and show your influential humans that you are more than a fungal woman of the woods. If you can paint a wonderful work of art at this party, you may be able to gain some amount of fame and respect. Maybe you'll even make a name for yourself. On the day of the event, you pack up all your art supplies and prepare yourself the best you can. When you arrive, you see dozens of people dressed in monocles and other strange clothing items that don't seem to serve any practical purpose. They're all sitting at a long rectangular table, spotted with food dishes that you couldn't even begin to guess the identity of. A woman eventually greets you with an excited shriek. "Oh, you must be that lovely mushroom girl I've heard talk of. We must find you a seat at the table. Come this way." You follow the hostess to the table and take your seat. No one has brought up the pack of supplies you brought with you, and you find it hard to bring up the topic naturally. You awkwardly fumble your way through dinner, and once more people have begun to finish. You mumble something about painting someone. A guest wearing a monocle volunteers to be your subject, but as you begin painting them, a couple other partygoers begin to judge and hound you on your technique. One of them even physically pokes your canvas, causing the whole thing to topple over. You are mortified, and though the hostess reprimands the nosy guests, you are so embarrassed you grab your things and flee the dinner. You go to bed that night having missed out on multiple opportunities. You feel like you've made a fool of yourself in front of some very important people, a thought that haunts your nightmares. The winter winds cut through you with with latent memories of a childhood long abandoned. You stand now, braced at the foot of the great mountain, resolute. It is not a matter of personal pride, but an intrinsic necessity, born into life and born of the earth. To lay idle at the footbed of Mother Nature's playground is to fester in stagnation. At least, this is what you tell yourself. With your gear packed, you gaze high above the towering monument. A competition is to take place, a festival of tenacity against indomitable might. The straps dig in, but you shift your weight and readjust. Before you, a plume of smoke floats leisurely out the chimney of a cabin, but at the mountain's base camp. The warmth of spice cuts through the frigid air as it blows on the wind. With earnest ambition, you approach the cabin door, kick the snow from underfoot, and meander your way inside. To your surprise, it's rather crowded. Murmurings of untrodden paths and terrifying obstacles echo through the building. Obstacles echo through the building. In the corner, the elderly proprietor stares forlornly at a babbling group in the room's center. While you have the supplies and verve to carry forward up the mountain, you sense that perhaps sticking around the base of camp for a time could prove valuable. Ascend the mountain, position the group for teamwork, look around and keep to yourself. Let's word teamwork. As you near the group, one of the older, more wizened members of the group turns to you and looks deep into your soul with bloodshot eyes and a sickening grimace. Guys, I think that old witch lady was... Oops. Guys, I think that old witch lady was right about eating those mushrooms. Eunice, what are you talking about? Are you sure you didn't take two? Haha, it's her. It's like the old crone said, the mushy queen has... Something made it go auto. It's like the old crone said, the mushy queen has come to reclaim her children. We're sorry, don't rip out our stomachs, O queen. Your children are surely long digested. Please forgive us. Clearly, this is, well, it's certainly not conducive to climbing the mountain, and it's probably best to avoid any semblance of association with these people anyway. Glancing at the proprietor, you offer an inquisitive expression, receiving in kind only a half-certain shrug. Either way, your mind is so preoccupied with the events of which has happened that the minutes turn to hours, and by the time you stop to think, you realize you're already halfway up the mountain. Now you're at a junction, and considerably more clear of thought than when you were back at the base camp. Looking around, you attempt to plan out your next move. Off the beaten path lies a cave, though it's far, far too dark for you to make your way safely through. In front of you, the main path continues, though a sign nearby depicts a beast further along the path and recommends an alternate route via the cliff face just off to your left. It would take some endurance to climb, but it seems doable. Take the main path, scale the face of the cliff. What was it? Let's do the cliff face. You decide the cliff face to be the best course of action. After all, you're all equipped with the correct gear. This should be easy enough. Steadily, you hoist yourself up onto the rock, and gradually, if not unceremoniously, you make it to the top. At the top, there's a small, quaint section of marked trail that you walk on, eventually coming around to the other side of the mountain. You can't help but think to yourself that, for a mountain that appears so unsubmittable, there are so many markers even this high up. Climbing just a little higher, you notice a tension, followed by the relief. It feels as though you just crossed through a threshold, and as you feel that relief build, you notice a clarity to the sky and realize you're near the summit of the mountain. Climbing higher and higher, you can feel the excitement swell within you. The top is there, right there. There's a clearing, a caldera perhaps, that appears small and intimate and would serve as the perfect spot to stake your claim as first summiteer. But as you approach the peak, you realize you are not alone. You are not the first. And from the look of the armored knight standing poised in front of a slate slab altar, great sword position tipped down between his greaves, there were many more before you. It's evident the knight sees you, and carefully he raises his sword. Behind him, you notice the pale visage of a woman. She is laying across the altar, her porcelain hair spilling out and blending seamlessly into the snow all around her. Engage in combat, dissuade the knight, stand your ground. Let's stand our ground. Uncertain, you stare down the knight. Finding your courage, you demand to know the man's identity. I am the remains of one man's love, the heart divorced from soul, left to stand vanguard. There was a time they called me Bleeding Heart, but not much so anymore. He raises his sword, points it in your direction. From the blade's tip, a pale azure glows emits. I'm sorry, but I must protect the dreamer. The bolt fires out, and you take the blast dead center, absorbing it into your damp soul. After a moment, it coalesces and sprays forth from the point in your body that it entered. You can see errant magic fly all around, striking behind both you and the knight. Visibly irritated by the show of defiance, the knight begins walking forward when a soft voice pipes up from behind. For if life is a dream, we must ever walk onwards with our eyes open wide. As you grow older, you look back over your life. You think back to the witch who created you and can't help but wonder if everything met her expectations. You wonder if you were the daughter your parent had hoped for. Wow! Mountain climber, we got a new achievement, but it's not a different ending. That mountain ending, though, that was very cool. Damn, I thought we were gonna die on the mountain. So, this is where we're at. We've found 5 mushrooms and only 2 endings. So next time, I gotta find more. I gotta do, find some more mushrooms, I guess.
Thank you.